shoot, I got stuff sticking up everywhere. Hey guys, sorry I'm running a minute late here, but I'm getting it.
Hey,
Hey, how's it going?
good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Trying to get everybody invited.
Yeah, a couple people were asking, "Are you on yet?" I don't see it.
Okay, I think I got. Let's see.
Hello.
Hey,
Yeah, so it's on there. Shannon T. Hey,
Hey guys, going
how's
on
it
hey
mute
going?
real
Tim.
quick while I get settled in.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna do a share on Facebook.
You shared a Nick. You guys have a good day?
Yeah, we did. We can hear your TV.
Oh yeah, I'll mute soon, okay? I just don't like to leave her hanging.
Okay.
She loves it when we mute. Not.
How's it going,
Night,
Tim?
Shannon. So far, so good. I got too much sleep today. I feel a little too good. I'm not used
You're
to
ready
this.
to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to do backflips, and I never did a backflip in my life.
Hey, I love it.
Hey, everybody. I'm gonna give everybody a
That's
couple
awesome.
of minutes to come in. That was a busy day for me because I helped Kim all day and cooked for her and then and then got ready for
How's she
this.
doing?
She's doing real good. I'm really happy. You know.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get some likes, guys. I'll mute.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Maria.
Hey everyone,
Hey, Marie.
how are you guys?
We're okay. How are you?
I'm okay.
Hey Marie, how you doing?
I'm doing.
Did you have
I'll
a
be.
rough day?
Yeah, I just got home and I gotta get the boys situated, and yeah, it's been a day.
That's cool. If you need to do stuff, I'm gonna just go through the thing about the John the Four for a few minutes, and then we're gonna invite people up. You know. So
Okay, I'll be
and it's
listening.
on video, so it's gonna be real easy for me tonight. I don't have near as much work as I normally do.
That's good.
Yeah, but I think it's so important that people see how that was so distorted that you know it's just like one of those major chapters. You know.
Yeah,
John chapter 4, you said?
Yeah, where the woman at the well.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to hear about this one, so I was excited.
Yeah, this is going to be good. I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm just getting home. Perfect timing.
Oh, that's great.
There we go.
We got a good crowd tonight too. Pretty good so far for it to be the first 5 minutes. Hi, Faye. Hey, JP. Hey, following the way. Hey, Mark. Okay. What I'm going to do today is review over the woman at the well and how they distorted the text. And this is kind of complex, but it's not really once you really look at it. After you get to looking at it, you can really see the flaws in what they did um, very easily. When I first started, I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be hard, but it wasn't. See, I pull it up here. There we go. See if I got it pretty straight. It looks pretty straight, I think. Hopefully, everybody be able to see it. Because this one I already had recorded, so I'm going to play it and then maybe stop it. And if people have questions, we could play a couple frames and then stop it and then play a couple more. Do it kind of like that.
I don't hear any sound.
No sound?
No sound.
Oh crap, this may not work to play it from there. Let's see.
Uh-oh.
I may. I'll just read it. That's okay. I can use the video though because it's working great. We're looking at John 4 verse 21 through 23 tonight, guys. And there is some major problems with these verses. And most people would never even know it unless you really have looked at the Greek real carefully. Okay, we're going to look at the first part here. Jesus said to her, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know." And what we have in English is for salvation is from the Jews. Okay, but the Greek word there is ek, and it's ek. And when it's used with positional prepositions and two different locations, it does not mean from. It means out of or away from or beyond or outside the Jews. But the hour is coming and is now here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father is seeking such people to worship Him. And that little diagram I have right there is like I think it came from a Bible Greek book on learning Greek. And I don't know if you can see it or not, but the arrow going out of the circle is the ek. And if it was in, it would be, it looks like an E and a V, but in English it's actually, that V is an N. So it's N would be in it, and then outside or of it is the arrow going out is ek. But this only applies when you're talking about two different locations, and you've got the positional prepositions like the neither nor, and he knew that. He would not have worded it that way if not, because that rule is just, it's been around for forever. Let's see. Let me see. All right. I'm sorry about this, guys. I thought this would play on here easy. Look my file. Hmm. I'm gonna find it. Can't remember how I got it labeled.
Just take your time. We're all right.
Yeah, I know. I just kind of aggravate. I've got clipped speakers. I figured y'all would be able to hear it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works. I'm not really tech savvy, so
I think I
maybe
found it. Let's
ask Tim
see.
that question. Hey, Tim,
Yeah, what?
how would she get her speakers to work on here?
Oh gosh.
Come on, Tim. Come on.
I know, right? That's outside of my
Now I
expertise
got
over
it
there.
playing somewhere.
Well, you're young. You should know all this stuff.
All
I
right.
know, I know. I'm a bad young person, ain't I?
No, you're not. Not at all.
I'm a waste of youth, guys. Nope, nope. It's true.
Why is that doing like
No, I
that?
don't think so.
There we go. There we go. I'll get it straight here in a minute. Put that one down. Okay, we just covered that part. Get it as big as I can. Okay. If they had meant to say from, it would have been this word right here, not ek. Being there was two different locations. It's apo, I think is how you pronounce it. Means from. Okay. And you can see here, this is from the ancient Greek, and it says source from, and that's the apo word, and it's from. So if he wanted to use that with the positional prepositions, he would have used from. Okay. But when you're talking about the morphology of Greek, biblical Greek, it's like out of, from, away from. They say it can mean away from, but when you get down to the actual rules of Greek, if you've got those positional prepositions and two different locations, it definitely means, see, it says a position right here, outside or beyond. So this was an intentional fluke that they did here. I've got some more stuff here too. And here's your prepositions. This is all your positional prepositions. And the ones that he used are definitely in there. Because he says, neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. So both of them are there. So X should have been outside of or beyond. Okay, and I double checked it here. And actually, the ek can also be a prefix for the next word in the sentence, which is Jews, because it can be added onto the word like that, and it's outside when you do. Ek is also a prefix. So either way, because when you look at the manuscript right there, you can see there are no breaks between words. There's no punctuation. It's like it's up to the translator to decide whether it's a prefix or a part of another word. But when you put that actual word that they have there in the manuscript, ekton means outside. There's just no way they could have missed this. There is no way. I mean, ekton means outside in Greek. All right. I don't know if y'all be able to. I checked the Latin. No, this is where I checked the Latin. And in Latin, it's ex, ex, like your ex-husband, your ex-wife. It's similar to that. So it definitely means, outside of or away from. So I checked the Latin to make sure it lines up too. Okay. And also, the woman made a statement. She didn't ask a question. She said, the woman said to him, I know the Messiah comes, he who is called the Christ. When he has come, he will declare all things to us. She made a statement. She didn't even ask if he was the Christ in Greek. Because what I got in the mechanicals, this he said, said to her that I am Jesus speaking to you. He literally just turned like we would and said, hey, I'm Galanan. You know, she didn't ask a question. He was just telling her who he was. This is, I mean, when I looked at this, I was like, wow, you know. And at this, his disciples, they marveled that he was speaking with a woman, yet no one said, what are you looking for? Or why do you speak with her? So the woman left her water pot and went away into the city and said to the people, come and see a man who told me everything I did. And then she's questioning way down further in verse 29, can this be the Christ? Now, if he told her that he was the Christ, or he said, I am to that statement instead of a question, if it was a question, then why would she still be asking, could this be the Christ? Because that one is definitely a question. If he plainly told her that, this makes no sense. I mean, this has been totally distorted on purpose. Let's see. Okay. Because I checked the verse 26 and it says, this he said to her, that I am Jesus speaking to you. He was just telling her who he was that was talking to her. Okay. And we have another, what Jesus is literally saying in these verses is interesting too. Because she goes on to say in verse 12, are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us this well and drank from it. He did this, he did his sons and his livestock. Jesus said to her, everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. So she's telling us something major there. That's Jacob's well. It was given to them. It's like, so does that make her a Samaritan? Or what does that make her? But whoever drinks of this water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to an eternal life. And it's like, once you start really looking at the context of that, it's like he's telling her also that drinking from that well, which is Jacob's well, everybody's going to be thirsty still. But if they drink from the real well he offers, then they'll have eternal life. In Jacob's family, just for a review, it's like you got Leah and Zilpah and Rachel and Beulah. I may have to blow that up so I can see it better. For just a second, guys, I'm sorry. My eyes are getting old. I'm getting old. So, let's see. I'm trying to think. Jacob, all these people came from Jacob. So this is the Jews. So if Jacob gave them the well, that means the Samaritans are Jews. There's something real fishy in all this. Something very fishy. And you can look up the family tree, though, and you can see that online, or you can look on the video I've got online. Because that's real tiny. I still can't read it. I'd have to blow it all the way up. Okay. Alright, and actually this sentence is all distorted too in John 4:9, because and then it says, then the Samaritan woman says to him, how are you near one who is Jewish, asking me to drink, being a Samaritan woman? He did not say, it does not say what they have in the English text. She's asking why he's there, asking her for a drink. The other way around. And it's real tiny, tiny print. But if you want to look at each and every word in Greek, you can see it real easy. And put it in it. Take these sentences. If you want to see some things, take the sentences in Greek without all the numbers and everything, just a basic Greek, and take sections of them and put them in a translator. Probably Bing, I would say. Bing is pretty good. There's There's one other one. Linguist is pretty good. But if you take sections, it doesn't know it's a Bible verse, and it'll give you an accurate readout. If you take the whole sentence and put it in there, it's going to spit out the King James Version because the AI is programmed to spit out the King James Version. If it's not something it recognizes, it'll actually analyze it and give you the more accurate what it means. I've even taken the Bible name out and put in a non-Bible name, and it gives you a total different reading. But I do that kind of to double check myself. And another way I double check myself is by looking at the Latin to make sure it lines up with the Latin. Because I'm better at Spanish and Latin than I am Greek. Let's see. And another thing that was like a big shock was when I went and checked John 4:42, and this is another kicker that tells you what they did, because John 4:42 doesn't even include the word Christ in the manuscript. They added it. And let's see, that's the verse that says, and the woman spoke out that no longer by means of her testimony we believe, for we have heard despite her, and we see and know that truly this is the Savior of the cosmos or universe. It does not say the Christ in the manuscript, and that's one of the oldest manuscripts. So there's some big problems in this. Let's see. And then the biggest one I found was it's like, okay, now if in 29, after she's already had this discourse with him, and he's told her his name is Jesus and everything, if he'd have told her he was the Christ, why down in verse 4:29 is he still asking if this is the Christ? Why is she still questioning that? That's a big, big issue. And that's basically it in a nutshell on this one. But I just wanted to share this tonight because I think it's very, very important. Because it's just like John 1:11 and all. It's like where they said he came to his own and his own received him not. Well, that word for own is a reflective pronoun, and it reflects on the subject. Well, 4 times we're told the subject is the world, not one nation. And if that's the case, then if it was the world, then it should have been read the same, not his own. They've done a lot of trickery in here. And it takes you sitting there looking and looking and looking and thinking about what's being said, looking before what you're looking at, looking after what you're looking at, looking a chapter ahead and a chapter behind. I mean, sometimes I'll just spend all day long looking and thinking and like, is there something wrong with this or is this accurate? And I have to really look hard because I'm not a Greek scholar. But I knew when I saw that EK from Latin, in the Latin, I knew something was bad wrong. Because it's EX in Latin, and X is like your ex-wife. And that means something away from you, gone. So I knew there was a problem. But if we want to invite some people up, if they've got any questions about it, I can pull things back up and look at them even closer if they want me to.
All right, it's gonna be my first time trying to invite somebody up too.
Yeah.
Let's see. I don't see anyone new yet.
Yeah,
Nope.
Shannon, I used to too. Long time ago, it's the same way.
Nope, Matt. Man, I think every name I've seen here before besides, no, I've seen Devin as well. We got a new guy in, David. Maybe David wants to come up and talk. Hey, Shannon.
Hey, Shannon.
Hey, I'm glad you're off
Hello.
tonight. How's it going?
Yeah, going good. Um, what Bible translation do you prefer? What do you think's closest to um, Jesus Barabbas' words?
I right now I tend to lean toward the NASB, but it's like a more of a literal, but I'm still looking at the Greek constantly. It's like I'll see a verse and I think, well, that looks right, but then I'm always scared. I have to go check the Greek. I guess I've looked at so many that were wrong. I think it was Lee told me the same thing when he started learning Greek. He said, "Can you go more than 3 verses without finding a mistake?" I said, "I haven't yet," and I said, "It's driving me crazy." It's like, but I think the NSAB to me is probably one of the closest.
I'll check into that. I've read it. I don't. I don't really have a favorite translation anymore. I just bounce around on.
I do a lot too. I like to look at the Knox too because it was one of the first of the English, and sometimes I'll catch stuff in there that you don't catch somewhere else too.
I
Do you
think
have
as
a?
the oh, go ahead, brother.
I was just going to ask. Do you have a paper copy of the Knox, or do you just go by what's online?
I just use it online when I have it on the eSword, and then I have it on one of the websites too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. I think like no matter how early you go, I don't think there is a translation we can just straight up trust, But like to bounce around is the best idea. But I do
We
think
can,
that
yeah.
maybe the
Um,
oldest ones are useful for certain reasons, just because you know how they have agendas in certain times, so they might delete certain things to go for that agenda back in the 1500s, and then in today's time they'll delete certain things because it'd be too obvious as well. You know what I'm saying? So I
right.
think each of them has like some kind of flaw.
I love looking at that Codex Sinaiticus now that I'm getting to where I can pick out the words in the Koine. It took me a while because when you take the Greek, they teach you the lowercase, and then when you go to the actual manuscript, it's all in uppercase, and it kind of throws you a little bit, when you're new at it. But I'm getting a little bit better at it. It's almost like a find a word because it's like they all run together and there's no punctuation, and you have to figure out where the word stops and starts. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, pretty confusing if you ask me.
I look at it like a puzzle. I sit there and okay, I'm gonna take this one verse. Cause I like the way they got it laid out though, because they have it where you can click on one word in Greek on the right, and it shows you exactly where that word is on the manuscript. So right away you got your starting point, and then you can go from there. So it's pretty simple to find the verse, and then once you find the verse, then I look at the Will Hoyt manuscripts, their translation and interlinear, and then I look at the one with the Masoretic text. I look at both and see if it lines up with those. Then if I find something different, I really go dig into it deeper. But it's kind of fun. It's like a game.
Definitely a game. And they ain't playing fair.
No, they're not. But it's like a box of crayons. So it's like it's broken. The manuscripts, the text we have is broken, but it still colors. Because it's like you got Father there on the back of, if you pray about it and everything before you read, you've got Him there helping you. It's like I would have never seen that stuff in Matthew 24:5 if it wasn't for Him. It's
Yeah.
like, because He
I
does.
mean, what you noticed today was good. That how if you read further down, because that's a big question. About him saying, "I am the Christ," because I was questioning that myself, and I don't know if you saw it like one of the comments on YouTube, which made you want to do a video on this today. But I'm glad you did because, like you said, when you go further down and you see that now she's questioning if that was the Christ, that debunks that completely. Now it shows that they just straight up added that in there.
Yep. And one of the verses didn't
Crazy.
even have the word Christ, and they just put it in there. They
And
do.
they, yeah, they just go.
I've seen as many as 4 to 5 words left off, and 3 or 4 words added to a verse that aren't even there. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and that's why he said that they'll add to and take away from his word, and stuff like that. Because I mean, look at today; it's happening. And I keep saying this, but they always trying to give the credit to the wrong deity. Just the same way Yahweh tries to take credit for making the heavens and the earth, even though all he really did was shape what was already created. Because the word made everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing with the Christ thing. Now he's getting credit for healing people and this and that because they're just putting Christ on top of Barabbas' name.
Everybody says YouTube is easier to do a live on, but I've got 2 strikes, or I would be using them because you can actually play something on there, just straight up, without having to
Yeah,
shoot a camera. Lee does it all the time. I'll have to ask him how he does it.
I'm about to say that's the young guy you guys should be asking for technical difficulties over there.
Yeah, because he's covered a bunch of my videos on his lives.
Yeah, Lee's a soldier,
Yeah,
and like I
he's on
said,
in
the
the mornings
salvation.
for me. I'm sorry.
That's
I think
always
he,
why I miss him.
I think he lost his channel. I think it got
No
taken
way.
down.
Is
Yeah,
that
I
why he
haven't.
hadn't been on the last couple of
That's
days?
that's why he hasn't been on because I
Oh no!
I'd been enjoying it too. I get up in the morning drinking my coffee and I'm like I can listen to him and jump on and he hasn't been on. I noticed if you go into his username it says account not found. It used to be, but I heard he lost the channel.
Because I've looked for him
He
like
does.
two or
He
three
does have
mornings.
another backup. He does have another backup thing because I have been watching some of his videos.
Yeah,
Yeah. He should be on here.
Wow.
He should come up.
yeah.
For what reason would he get suspended? It's like
I
Lee
don't
is really
know.
nice to people. Yeah.
I mean, unless they were breaking the rules about saying that unalived word, or we don't know.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh my goodness.
I know that's crazy.
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid that. It's hard though.
It is hard to remember. When you're just talking.
Um, do you know where that scripture is? Where I think it's uh, it wasn't I think it was the chief priest who questioned Jesus and he said something like, "Are you not something or other and a Samaritan?" Or are he accused him of being from the devil. That's what it was, I think. And you're a Samaritan. And he didn't deny that he was a Samaritan, but he did say that he's not from the devil. I don't think that's in John, but I was thinking about that and wondering why. Maybe it was the wrong Jesus. Maybe that was Jesus Christ. But do you know where that is?
I'm trying
I
to think.
don't.
Does anybody else know?
Would they accuse Jesus of being a Samaritan?
Yeah. Said, "Aren't you're from? Are you?" I can't remember the accusation. They made 2 accusations against him, and one of them that he was a Samaritan, and another accusation, and he only addressed the one accusation, but he said nothing about the being a Samaritan. And I was trying to find that, and I can't find it.
Yeah. Hopefully, maybe someone in the chat will know and they can put the verse up, and I'll go straight to it.
I found
I
it.
don't remember them calling him. Oh, you did.
Let's see. 8:48. I never noticed that.
Oh,
Thank you,
wow.
Shannon. Then answered the Jews and said unto him, Say we not well that thou art a Samaritan and hast a devil? And Jesus answered, I have not a devil, but I honor my Father, and ye dishonor me. And I seek not mine own glory. There is one that seeketh, and judgeth. Let's see. Verily, verily, I say unto you, if a man keep my sayings, he shall never see death. Now we
That
know
is the
that
verse I
thou
was talking about
hast
one
the
time. Sorry.
devil. Abraham is dead, and the prophets, and thou sayest, If a man keep my sayings, he shall never taste death. And art thou greater than thy father Abraham, which is dead, and the prophets that are dead? And he goes on and said, And if I honor myself, my honor is nothing. It is my Father that honoreth me, of whom you say he is your God. Yet ye have not known him, but I know him, and if I say I know him not, I should be a liar like you. I know him, and I keep his sayings. Your father Abraham rejoiced to see my day, and he saw it and was glad. And they said, Art thou 50 years old, and hast thou seen Abram? And Jesus said unto them, Verily, verily, I say to you, before Abram was, I am. Yeah, that verse I have looked and looked and looked at. And I still am not sure what 858 should actually read in English. But I didn't notice this one up here that he's calling out, Thou art a Samaritan.
Yeah, it brings something to mind to me immediately. So they asked that Jesus right there if he was a Samaritan, right? The other
Right.
Jesus, they said, don't we know his dad and his mom? So I think those two were separate ones right there.
Looks that way.
Yeah,
Almost.
because they wouldn't question. They like the Hebrew Israelites, and the Hebrew Israelites they find honor in coming from from being a Jew from both parents. And when and I wrote this note down about the if the salvation is if the so sorry if the salvation came from the Jews. And one of the points I wanted to bring up is like how the Samaritans was supposedly coming from that I think is the book of Nehemiah or Ezra, when they were where the Jews were going off and getting wives from other people, like, and people that had other gods and stuff, and they were marrying them. And then I think Nehemiah was telling them they need to get a letter of divorcement for all those people that they married, and they didn't want to do it. So for the ones that didn't want to do it, they went and lived in a separate part, and that's who became the Samaritans. And this is the reason why they get called the dogs and stuff, even though they still live amongst the Jews, even though not in the exact same area, but they have a little sectioned off area. They're supposed to be mixed. Yeah, yeah, Tracy. There you go, Tracy. But yeah, so they asked if he was a Samaritan, basically saying they don't know where his parents are from. They don't know his parents. And the other Jesus, they said, we know who his parents is. It's Joseph and Mary. Is this not Joseph and Mary's son? You know?
So do you think that they are in this passage that they're referring? It's like both Jesus are standing there, and they're referring to both of them at the same time, addressing him, or is this passage just one
I think that
Jesus?
passage is just one Jesus. And the other passage was, I forgot exactly where that one is, but it was a completely separate time, and he was supposed to be um like somewhere, not, I wouldn't say in the wilderness, but just out. And I think this time he's somewhere near a synagogue, I want to say. So these are two different locations, and I think these are two different people, two different Jesuses that they're talking to.
It looks
Not.
like it could be not in that sentence twice too.
Mm.
Yep. I'll have to look at that one, Shannon. Man, that's interesting.
So what you presented tonight, I don't know if I understood it right. I'll have to watch it on YouTube. But were you saying that the woman at the well was not a Samaritan? She was a Jew, like a full-blooded Jew, or
The way it reads, she's a Samaritan Jew. And I was reading back some history because that threw me off. And they were considered Jews back then. They had their own Bible too. I think there's some monkeying been done with that about
Yeah.
what them not being Jews. I think they were.
Yeah,
I
I
wrote
think they
that.
were too. And they even knew the scriptures very well, because that's why the lady knew of a Christ coming.
Yep.
She was like, "If this not the Christ?"
And if Jacob gave them the well, they had to be. Jacob is Israel. They were Israelites.
Yeah, it's their dad still. Yep.
Uh huh.
and the scripture we were looking at in John 8:48, I think it is. You were saying, um, maybe it's not that one, but I can't remember what my. Oh yeah, where he was referring to Abraham. Your father Abraham, in verse 56, your father Abraham rejoiced that he was to see the time of my coming. He saw it and was glad. What what does that what does that mean?
I know. That's kind of a statement. And it's not Abraham that's in the Greek, it's Abram. And Abram just means exalted father. I'm wondering if it wasn't supposed to be exalted father in the text.
Because Abraham, he started out with the name Abraham, but then the way I understand it now, and I could be wrong, but he started out as Abraham, and then when Yahweh got a hold of him, he changed his name to Abram. Does that?
He started out as Abram and he changed it to Abraham.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's the other way around, yeah. And he did that a lot in the Old Testament, changing people's names. You know.
The way I understood it, the way I was taught that the Jews, when they had children, they would give them a name when they were born, but then once they learned the character of the child, like what their traits were. Maybe I don't know what time, 8 years old or something, they would change their name to describe what they were like. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah. The Cherokees did that in the States too. When Drake first encountered them, he said they all changed their name to whatever they were like to match their characters. That's why a lot of people think they were actually Jews.
Yeah, you know how I think that the Jews are of a black race. That's a MO of black people. They get you get nicknames. I can go through 10 years of knowing someone and never know their real name. Their
Yep.
their real name, and like
When I played
literally
ball, it was like that. They go by their slang term or whatever they're known
all the
for.
time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even as a kid, sometimes, so, like as soon as, like you said, Shannon, as soon as you get some type of identity, as soon as you get your nature starts showing out past your skin, people are gonna give you a nickname according to it. And a lot of times you don't never get a nickname and nickname yourself. You can't nickname yourself. The community rename you. They'll call you something. You know what I'm saying? Like a dude that's like that. If they think you're smooth or something, I know one dude they call him Cashmere just because it means smooth.
Yep.
You know, and that's all I know him by. I don't know him by nothing else. So I think it matches like well, exactly what you said, Shannon. Their character come out and they get a new name. Pretty wild.
That's
But
so interesting, Shannon. I'm glad you brought that verse up to me though, because I really want to dig into that now.
I'm looking forward to see what you come up with, and I'll look into it too. I've always wondered about that. Um, I know Jesus Barabbas was sent; he wasn't born, but he, I can't remember what I was going to say. He wasn't born, but he still didn't. He didn't deny it when they asked him that. He just, of course, the accusation that he's from animal. I don't know if that echo is coming from me, but anyway, he didn't. He took care of the major difference there. The or the accusation about being from the devil, and maybe he just didn't pay attention to the other one.
Oh,
That's
I'm
that.
so sorry.
But I don't know. We'll get to the bottom of it one of these days.
Yeah. I wish I had time to do every verse, all of them. Just start at the beginning and do them all. I'm just really slow at it because I want to make sure I'm right. It makes me nervous, you know. I don't want to be changing something if it's already, you know, if it's not. I don't know. I'm just real careful. It worries me.
I am curious about what he meant by Abraham was uh, whatever wherever that is. I don't have it in front of me right now. Oh, that Abraham, your father Abraham rejoiced that he was to see the time of my coming. He saw and was glad. Um, that that statement right there makes me wonder what he was talking about, or was that Jesus Barabbas saying that, or was it Jesus the Christ?
I'm looking to see if I've looked at that one yet.
I was gonna say I misunderstood your question.
Oh, in John 8:56, it says, "Your father Abraham rejoiced that he was to see the time of my coming." And
Oh, okay.
My Bible has a semicolon there. I think it's a semicolon. I can't really see it. Is the dot with the comma below it? What is that one? And I don't even know what that means. But it says he saw it and was glad. And he says, and they said to him, "You are not even 50 years old, and you have seen Abraham?" And he says, "I am telling you the truth." Jesus replied, "Before Abraham was born, I am." And I know a lot of Christians like to say, "Oh, he's the I am." But
I'm reading
it's
it right now, my version too.
what version are you reading, Tim?
My version, it says scriptures, and that's like it all. It's a blue Bible, and it has these scriptures on it. When I look at the side, it says from the Institute for Scripture Research. But yeah, it doesn't really, it doesn't say like NLT, NIV, anything like that. It's supposed to be like a Bible with the Hebrew translations for all the names and stuff like that. And
That can also
there we
read
go.
that verse. The Father Abram, you rejoiced to see my day, and saw it and rejoiced again, because that Omicron they got there can mean thee or they. So I'm not sure which way that was supposed to read. That was another one I had a question on.
So it could mean that he was referring to Abba Father,
Yeah,
not Abraham in the
right. Yep.
Testament. Interesting.
The Abraham the father. It could read that way also, or the father Abram. It would be like he was saying, the Father, the exalted Father, rejoice to see my day. You know, pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah, it's something to dig into, I think.
And like one verse I looked into that I know is right is verse 39 and 40. And 40 is the one, but now you seek to unalive me, a man that told you the truth, which I have heard, and this day did not Abram. Okay, and that's not right at all. I can show y'all that one. I've got it pulled up. Okay. I don't know if I can get it big enough or not. Let's see if I can. See that word right there? It says to sacrifice, and that's from 300 and 200 BC. And that's ancient Greek, is where that definition comes from. Well, if you take that and look at it, let me see if I can get it over here, slide it over without messing it up. Darn. Just trying to move the camera. And I sit it still. This is what I got. But now a man seeks to kill me, that the truth was spoken, which I heard from God, or the divine, that Abram did not sacrifice, is how that would read. So he was basically telling him that he didn't do the sacrifices. And I was shocked when I saw that when I was looking at the ancient Greek dictionary, and it said that in 200 BC it was translated as sacrifice instead of make or do, did not do. It's did not sacrifice.
So I've been trying to figure out, was Abraham a good guy? Or I know Jesus Barabbas said everyone that came before me were, how does that scripture go? Liars and thieves or something like that?
Right. But it's not really, I don't think it's the same word that's in the Old Testament, cuz it's Abram. And Abram means exalted father. And then Abraham means father of the nations, I believe. And Abaddon means destroy father. So it's like, and when the Catholic Church set up Peter in their documents, they have Peter as replacing Abraham or Abram. I don't have access to the Greek to know whether they've got it spelled, which way they have it spelled, but they have him not replacing Jesus as the lead, but replacing Abram or Abraham. I'd have to have the Greek of their text, but I don't have it. That's
Do
just what
you
they had in the English.
do you think anybody in the Old Testament was trying to worship Abba Father,
I don't
or
know. I don't know because of that verse when he said that, told them that they were of their father, and he was an unaliver and a liar from the Genesis. That worries me to even trust any of it. But you got that, and then you also got that Yahweh says he sent all. He put a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets. It doesn't say just one; it says all. So that makes you nervous too. You know, it's like I don't know.
Plus, when he says all that's come before me has been thieves and liars, and to me, all that includes humans, gods, anybody, you know.
Yeah, because in Greek it's actually all whosoever came before me. So it's even more intense in Greek. It's like inclusive of everything, you know. It's wild. I have more questions now, guys, than I have. It's like the more you learn, the more you know you don't know, and the more you need to study. It's like it's crazy.
was just saying that today. That I have every time I read the Bible, by the time I'm done, I have a new set of eyes, and then I have to read it again with that new set of eyes, and then by the time I'm done with the second read, I got to read it again because I have a new set of eyes, and then again and again. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm always finding something new that I didn't see before, but it's only because I didn't have the new perspective from reading it the first time.
Exactly.
So it's crazy. It's a never ending thing. Like we
Artist.
gotta.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim. Just want to ask a question.
Yeah.
So, you once said that you found that I am means Jesus.
Yeah, Jesus can mean I am because it looks like it was done in French. And
Yeah. Okay.
Jesus in
So,
French is I am.
yeah, Maria's just saying, or Marie, sorry, not Maria, is saying that when, and so is Tracy, when he said I am, it shows from Haya. Can you see that in the comments?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I go in the Bible interlinear, I was just studying this 2 days ago because somebody was arguing about Yahweh. So when I look up in the Bible Hub, it shows that I am. When I translate it and look at the definition, it shows to fall out, to become. And then when Jesus is saying it, and I look that one up, it shows I existed, kind of like him saying I existed before Abraham. But that's based on like what I search on there, but I could be wrong. But that's what I found on there.
That makes sense because it can mean I existed. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And then when I noticed in the Hebrew that when he said I am, it was Eye, I said Eye. And when I looked it up, the fact that it said to fall out and to become, it's like that wouldn't be Father because Father doesn't fall out. He doesn't become, he already is, you know?
Right.
But I could be
Fall
wrong.
out.
But that was in the Bible. Yeah, it says to fall out. But I can be wrong. But that's in the Bible hub interlinear. But I don't know. I know you use eSword. You can look it up in the eSword. I have that too, and to see if it shows the same. But that's what it showed on there.
I wonder what Do It Hebrew would show. I have a Hebrew program that gives me 5 dictionaries. It's pretty cool. I have to pay about $6 a month for it, but it's well worth it.
Wow. I was just gonna ask you, what did you use for the translation?
That Do It Hebrew is great. It gives you the modern, the ancient, and then like on verbs, it gives you whether it's past tense, present tense, all that stuff, and it gives you a couple other dictionaries too. It's pretty neat.
That's awesome. That's actually worth having then to study.
Just like the other ones, though, if you put the whole verse in there in Hebrew, you get the King James Version.
Yeah, I would say when he says to fall out, he might be telling on himself there to fall out of heaven, because
Yeah, they almost shut
Exactly.
us down. They said they detected inactivity in the live. How is that? That's wild. That's never happened.
How are we inactive? We sound pretty active.
I know. That's what I was
That's
trying to
wild.
figure out. This splashed up. It
What do you
will
want us
end
to
in
do?
so
Play the
many seconds. I
drums?
was like, oh, no, no, no. Don't do that to me.
Maybe we better get the drums out.
no, because if the salvation really is of the Jews, I was gonna bring that up. Oh yeah, my bad, Marie. I'm gonna give me one sec. It said I was gonna say like, why did the Ethiopian get saved? Why did the Roman have his daughter healed?
Right.
Just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, he gives a lot of examples of stuff happening to people that were non-Jews.
Yeah, I had one Hebrew Israelite say, "Well, the lady she got her daughter healed. That's not salvation." And I was like, "If getting your daughter healed from death is not salvation, tell me what salvation is."
Right.
So yeah, salvation belongs to everybody, not just an angry group of people, you know?
And I like the way like most of the synagogues, their synagogue or your synagogue, and he did most of the casting out of demons and all the nasty stuff was people that were within the synagogues, which is strange, and on the Sabbath, you know, and he called them works. Everybody says that wasn't works, that was healing, but he called it works himself.
Yeah, what's a good work then if healing isn't one?
I meant to
Some
look at
comments
that.
in the lives are being like some comments in the live were filtered to protect the community experience. Like, what did anybody say?
I don't know. I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
yeah, it's right here right now. Anyway,
That uh, post almost every live on my phone. I don't know why, and I don't know what people are saying that would get filtered out.
I'm the same. I notice that just about every live.
Me too, but I wonder if there's someone in there just trying to report, and then that's the reason why they come looking and bothering. Because I don't see anything negative in the comments ever. Like, no matter how toxic it gets.
I haven't seen anything either, and I've seen that message come up
no, I
before.
haven't either.
Especially this live, we haven't said anything that goes against, you know, it's like not really controversial what we've been talking about.
This is probably one of the most calm ones.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they think we're anti-Semitic.
I'm not anti-Semitic. It's like, I believe there's good Jews, and then there's other Jews that do probably bad things. I don't know. It's like, but I'm definitely not against any race whatsoever.
Yeah, some people might be scrolling past and seeing just the screen and saying salvation away from the Jews, and they might think that
Right.
we are. We
Yeah.
just want to.
I did that to catch attention, though, to make people think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to play their game. That's exactly how we got to do it.
That's what Babs told me to do that. She said, if you want to get people to watch your lives, put a controversial topic at the top. She said, then the people will come in. And whether they agree or they disagree, they might remember something you said.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's why I like. That's people who they choose. Who do they want to choose, life or God? Which one would they choose? Kind of get you thinking.
Makes sense. In art, we were taught in art school to do something controversial because it would grab attention in an art show. You know.
Business do the same thing. Uh, who was it that said all publicity is good publicity? It was a businessman, that's for sure.
Some negative can be even more because it draws people in to see what's going on. Yeah, it's
All the
like,
games, eh? It's
I
just a bunch
know.
of
It's a
games.
bunch of games.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't play games well.
Unfortunately, I do.
Are you a
Clickbait.
competitor?
Yeah. So I think that was one of my things to overcome because I've always been competing my whole life at stuff, and I realized because even when I lose, I realize how bad it makes me feel. You know,
Yeah,
and I realize it's like a form of putting yourself above another or thinking of yourself greater than another. So I still kind
yeah,
of do it a little bit to keep my mind sharp, but I really just respect my opponent now and just my whole mentality has changed, and I barely even play now. I lost the drive, but
Isn't
I
that
just want to
true?
keep my
I
mind
used
yeah.
to
sharp.
be the same way playing basketball. I had to be high
That's
score
exactly what I
every
play.
game. Every game I had to be high score. And if I wasn't, I was just totally disappointed, in
Hmm.
myself, not in anybody else, just me.
Yeah, my thing is I was always able to see things unfold and see like how to how to win and see why we're losing, and like that's what I've always been good at, like the why and adjusting in the middle, you know, and adjusting to their adjustments, and it's done well for me, but it'll make me a little prideful, and in the end, like you know, thinking that I'm better than I'm smarter, you know, and it's just not true. I'm not better than these people at all. So I just I realize what competition does, even if it's just chess or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, look, Shannon always has good questions. Y'all know that? I've noticed that. It's like he always brings up something that I don't even know, and I like it.
He goes deep. He digs in. I noticed it too. Good job, Shannon.
Shannon is honestly seeking, you
Mhm.
know, dedicated. You can tell.
When I used to go to church, I used to ask them questions, and everybody would just, they couldn't stand it. They just get mad at me. But I would
That's
ask them.
that'd be the same thing with me. I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I was saying that before I learned this truth, I was still going to church. Because um, one of my friends here, her husband is a pastor, and I would be going in and asking questions, and I never was satisfied with the answers. Like it's still, they're following Yahweh, and so I always was having questions about the New Testament and, all the killing and just all the evil that you see in asking questions. And he always had an answer, but it never satisfied me.
I asked the women's Bible study on Wednesday night about that because we were reading through the Old Testament. We were to Exodus where Yahweh was asking them to unalive their own people, by putting the swords on their side and all. And I
Hmm.
said, why is this like this? I don't get it. And they said, oh, don't worry about it. It doesn't apply to us anyway. And I said, well, why are we reading it then if it doesn't apply to us? It was like, I was trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
Yeah, they hate questions. They act like you're asking for money is when you ask questions.
Yeah, they don't like it. Sit and listen.
Yeah, like it's their treasure. Hey, stop trying to know my secrets.
But I was telling, I think I was saying, like, I was never comfortable going to church, and I never wanted to go. Like, Sunday would roll around, and I felt obligated to go. And I think all along my spirit just knew, something was way off, and it's been such a relief to not attend church any longer. This is my church. This is my truth, and this is my seeking Father. Because I didn't find him in a pew.
I met some nice people, but to me it was more like a social club. They didn't really dig real deep into anything,
No.
but they did help each other and stuff. It's like one of the ladies woke up and went completely blind in one eye just all of a sudden. And I mean, we all rallied around her and everybody helped her get through it. And I could see a lot of good coming out of it.
Yeah. I'm not saying everybody that goes to church is bad. I don't mean that at all. Because I know people who go to church and they're not aware of this truth, but they seem to be living righteously and have good fruit and are kind and loving and. So I
I think
think
some of these books too keep them pigeonholed because they order the books, instead of trying to figure out what it really says, they order books that tell them what it says,
hmm
and then they go through those books and it's interpreted for them. They don't have to really think about it. It's just, you know, it's kind of like going to school and being taught how to think versus memorizing, you know.
hmm
And to me, of course, that's getting kind of deep there. But I think they teach kids today to memorize, not to think, like to have problem solve.
You hit the nail
Yeah.
on the head with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell people
They
that
do
all the
for,
time.
yeah, they do for sure. You're
To
better off
recite
homeschooling your
something
kids to
is
get them
not
to
to be
think.
smart. Yes,
Yeah,
yes. That
yeah.
people think reciting is intelligence, and it's not. To be able to critically think, How good are you with the same tools that everybody have with your, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's intelligence, you know.
Yeah. Reciting things with understanding is okay.
Tracy, I was the
You know
same
what I mean?
about
Like
Paul. Yeah, he confused me
Yeah,
too.
memory.
Yeah, most of the churches that's what they're teaching. You know, you go into the church,
comprehension, yes.
they're teaching Paul doctrine and Peter doctrine. You know, or they're in the Old Testament. Like, when do you ever go to church and actually hear about what we're teaching and what Jesus said and what he came to teach? You know, it's rare. Maybe one Sunday a year.
Yeah, the
You know,
tracks in the back too are all just Paul verses.
they are.
You know.
Yeah. Even the most quoted scripture, like even if you're on Facebook and different Christians, you know, most of the quotes and the stuff and the prayers that they put up, they're from Ephesians, you know, put on the full armor. They're all, you know, it's all Paul stuff.
There are a lot of people waking up though, guys. I
There
mean,
are.
I am shocked at the number of comments on these lives we're doing on YouTube when I post them. I'm like, wow, people are really starting to look at this stuff and see it. I don't know if it's because they're worried because things are in such a mess or, but it's just a whole different attitude from what I've seen before.
I think people are searching for truth, you know, because a lot of people have been like looking for, you know, a lot of people believe in the rapture and they're looking for the rapture, and a lot of talk was going on that was going to happen and it hasn't happened. And, you know, I mean, for me, that's what happened with me. I got to the point of like, Father, I just want to know truth. Bring people into my life that can give me truth. And I found this channel and you going on, and you know, so I think a lot of people are probably there as they're watching the world get darker and darker, you know, wanting answers.
I was just gonna say that, Sally. The world is getting so much worse. People are asking for answers. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, they're tired of it. Especially the older you get and the more you realize, because when you're young, you know it all. You think you can change the world still. But as you live and you realize it's a cycle and everything they promise you was a lie. Just like Yahweh, you
Yeah.
realize you start looking in other places now. Your algorithms start to change. But I think the
100%.
more people wake up, the closer we're getting to the end.
Probably, you know. I would agree with that.
I think so too.
Yeah, I'm thinking that.
And when you guys are talking about the churches, I think there's small churches that's pretty good like that. Well, I would say honest in their search. You know, no, I think the big ones. I think a lot of them have just sold out. I think they know what they're doing. You know,
For sure. I mean, I live in the Charlotte area where Elevation Church, Stephen Furtick, and like, you know, so many people attend that service, and gosh, I went to his church twice and I couldn't. I'm like, I can't. Even before I knew this truth, I'm like, I can't go back.
yeah,
So
we feel weird because it's like the truth don't feel free. You know, they try to call they want us to call them. They want us to call them our dad, so to speak, or our father figure, so to speak. But then we can't even ask questions like a father figure. I can't sit in his lap and you know what I'm saying, and be like, "Yo, tell me about this, dad." You know what I'm saying? It just don't feel like what they're trying to make it seem like. And I think that's the reason why. I think it was you saying that you didn't feel comfortable really at church. You
never.
felt obligated to go like it was a chore. But here we are. I'm changing my sleep schedule to do this, and
Exactly. I can't.
I want to do this 7 days a week. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel obligated at all,
I don't
and then I'm
either.
not even getting paid to do it.
Yeah,
That's
like I'm.
exactly what
So
Sally
when
and
I
I were
was at
talking about
church,
that today. Sally
yeah,
and
I
I
was
were
waiting
talking
for
about that
football to
today
come
about
on at church. I was trying not to miss football. Go ahead.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
We were talking about church and how it was kind of a burden to go, you know, at certain times, and And this isn't a burden at all. This is like, we're excited. We're like, are we going live tonight? Are we going live? So this is definitely different.
It's because we know the truth, And
Yeah.
I mean, and I've told a lot of people have heard me say this, but right before I came to this truth, right before when I was like praying for Father to reveal truth to me, there was one night I was getting ready to go to bed, and he just dropped this into my spirit because I was still going to church at this point, and he just said, "The church is Satan's Trojan horse," and it was like, wow. I mean, and it was like. I mean, I knew that a lot of the churches and like especially the Catholic Church and stuff were, deceiving, but I mean that hit me hard, and it was literally a couple weeks later that I met Bonov and found her teachings. Haven't looked back. Stopped going to church.
And I still do think it's part of our job to continue to pull people out of there. And in order to do that, you know, maybe sometimes we got to go back to pull people out. But as far as making it a home or something like that, I had a little bright idea to go outside of a church and like set up a big old sign where it'll show the comparisons between Yahweh and the Father,
Yeah.
and see if I can get people coming out of church to get interested and run over there and come talk to me, not just be standing there looking like Tim and stuff, waiting
Make
for
a
them.
That'd be
Tim,
interesting.
make a little pamphlet or a little program. You know how like they hand you a program when you walk in. When people are leaving, hand them the program or a little pamphlet that shows the this is Yahweh in
Yeah,
the Old Testament. This is Jesus in the New Testament.
I'm gonna have to wear a camera on my tie so I can record how many dirty looks I get as they as they walk away.
Heck, you put them on the windshields.
That too, yeah. No, these are good ideas though, for real. Because I told you
Yeah.
guys about my shirt idea, then the hurricane came. But I plan, and you know what? You guys are artists. I can get you guys to help design it real quick,
What's that?
and
What
then
are
I
you
can.
needing?
I just wanna design some shirts that have the comparison between Yahweh and the Father. And so if I see like a homeless guy or something like that, I can give him something with some kind of substance to wear, with a message on it.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
Yeah, and get people thinking, not just them, but get the people that see him walking down the street thinking.
Right.
And there's online T-shirt where you can design your own T-shirt and then have them print them up and send them to you, and it's pretty reasonable. Yeah. I can't think of the name of the company, but they help you design it. There's also companies where you can design your own stickers. You can even put a QR code on it if you feel safe using a QR code, and put stickers. I've got stickers that because I was raised a Jehovah's Witness, and I really care about those people and I want them to wake up, and I have stickers that have QR codes on them, and they just say real simple things about that religion to get them to think. And maybe if they'll just whip out their phone and hit that QR code, they can get some information and start questioning. But it's hard because when you're dealing with people that have been, brainwashed their whole life, when they see stuff like that, they just immediately put it out of their mind and keep walking.
Yeah.
But people that are in that kind of situation where they've had bad things happen to them and they're asking questions, they might be tempted to look into it. So I think a T-shirt would be good, or stickers would be a good option. The flyers I think would be good, but more than likely those will just get crumpled up and thrown on the ground and it'll become litter.
Yeah, I
because
agree. I
because
think I want to stick to like clothing, like a shirt, just because it's knocking out like two or three birds in one stone. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, I noticed with those stickers I was putting up, um, if they were within reach, they would get torn down. So I would like go to where the Kingdom Hall is, and I would find a street sign, and I'd park my bike on the sign, and I would climb up my bike as a ladder and stick the sticker way up high to where they would have to work at it to go get it. And I've noticed I've went back, and those stickers have been there for like 2 years now because they're way up high. And I don't know if they're too high to, get your phone and be able to read the QR code, but it doesn't matter. Any little thing helps, I think, to get people to wake up.
Yeah, sometimes just saying something will do it. Just one little sentence or something. They'll say, "What'd you say?" You know.
What Tracy just said in the comment, is that what you're talking about? Because I was just gonna reply to that. But that's perfect, and then maybe other shirts could have a different one, like another one, and then people just be seeing all these different shirts around town with these different comparisons of Yahweh. They're like, "Damn, man! They look, they go another one." I think it's a good idea.
That's so good because it's almost like the more they see, the more they're gonna start questioning and wanting to look more.
Yeah, and then it won't make the font too small to where they can't read it. It'll be big enough since it's just really one really good comparison.
Yeah, that'll
They'll be
definitely
able to
start
read it
coming.
from a they better not be at the grocery store with a shirt on, man. I feel sorry for all those people because there's only one person on the cashier half the time now with all this technology. So y'all gonna be standing behind someone and get to read that shirt very well. Yeah, exactly, Tracy. If there's too much on the shirt, they won't read it, and that's really people got a short attention span these days. So quick hits. It's like doing a. You ever seen that Burger King commercial where he's running around putting money in people's pocket, but it's like he's acting like he's pickpocketing them, and they're like, "Hey," and they check, and it's like now they got more money in their pocket. It's kind of like what we're doing.
You look through that file I got on the parables. There's a whole bunch of comparison stuff back and forth, like from
That's
the Old
exactly what I'm
Testament to
probably
the
gonna
New.
do.
Yeah.
I made a list already too. Like I have it like written down and drawn out. I'm gonna send you guys a picture.
You could put the one part of the comparable on the front and one on the back, or one on one sleeve and one on the other, or,
I was thinking
you
that
know,
too, but then I was thinking like
or
side by
even
side might be the best, just
right.
because
I was going to
they might
say you
only
could do the
see one
front.
side.
Yeah, you could do the front and just kind of put a line down the center or something, and have the
Exactly.
two. You know, I mean, that would look like a funny shirt having a line down the center, so people will definitely be interested in seeing what's on it.
True.
Yeah.
You got some good ideas. I appreciate it.
We are a creative group.
And you guys are all, well. I don't know how many of you are artists, but I know a lot of you guys said. Didn't you guys say most of you were like artists?
We got quite a few in the group.
I don't paint, but my profession is in a creative field, and I make homemade jewelry. I paint furniture. I don't paint like going off paints and Eileen paints, but we all have that creative side to us.
Don't you design stuff too for work?
I do. I'm a swimming pool designer and a landscape architect.
That's an art. Landscape, yeah, that's definitely an art.
Yeah, and I draw. I used to hand draw. Now for my pool designs, we do 3D drawing, so it's all computer generated, computer drawn, but still creative.
It's definitely creative, even using
Yeah.
those programs.
That took me
You
about a
have
year
to.
to learn how to use the program. It's a complicated program, but it's fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
My daughter, yeah, my daughter had to use that in university. She was
Yeah.
going through for an interior designer, Not a decorator, but interior design. She could actually design houses up to, what was it called, 6,000 square feet or something like that. So,
Yeah.
Tracy, that's exactly, I agree. I just want to add the Christ in there too, because we're not going to be able to walk them through the whole thing, like be there to do it. So I want to that's why I wanted to have a few comparisons originally, because I want to get to how Yahweh sent Christ and how the Father sent Barabbas. You know what I'm saying? And then people will be able to see the difference of that as well. Maybe we can brainstorm something like that, or maybe have one point that we're trying to bring out that includes it. Is there anybody else that got questions that might want to come up, or just a testimony that they want to share, how they came to this truth?
Yeah, that would be good too. I hadn't even thought of doing the testimony thing. That'd be real good.
That is a good idea.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hey, Doxa.
Yeah, JBJC isn't clear on its own, definitely. Tracy, you're in the group chat, so I'll send you a picture of what I have, because I think I should I at least explained it to Marie one time, but I have a picture as well that I kind of just rough draft, and it's pretty clear when you see the picture.
Between all of us, we should be able to come up with I would think some cool shirts if we decide to do that.
I was on mute. I was like, I thought someone was trying to come up, and I don't know if I was too late of accepting it or what, but sorry for whoever that was. What's up, JP?
Greetings.
Hey, JP.
Greetings. I wanted to ask about what you pulled up there based on what Shannon was asking, because I noticed after Jesus, well, which one was speaking, and then there was the mention of Abram and Father, but the Father was in a lowercase f, but when Jesus spoke again about the Father, it was capitalized F. I don't know if anyone else caught that.
I didn't.
So when they were
Do you
mentioning
remember what
there,
the verse was? Sorry.
what was it, Shannon? 49? I forget the chapter. John?
858 something.
There you go. But artist, you had pulled it up a couple of verses before you looked at it. You still happen to have that on there on your links?
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Thank you.
Let's see. Hang on.
See it. Yeah, right here. 854 through 857, I want to say. You're right.
Because I noticed that too when they refer to Yahweh as the Father of Israel. It's always a lowercase f. And I don't know, just something I tend to notice. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, it's definitely because it's talking about Abram.
Huh. Okay.
that too in my Bible. When Jesus is speaking about the Father, it's a capital F, but when the Jewish leaders, I think they are, who he's talking to, or the Pharisees, I'm not sure. When they say our father, Abraham, it's lowercase. Interesting.
I guess that should have been a direct clue from the beginning.
Well, in your mind, it makes a difference, when you're reading it, whether you realize it or not. It's like we're conditioned to see things a certain way.
No, it's. I mean, Tracy's right. It's because they're talking about Abraham, not Yahweh.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. That's why I'm saying I see the same thing in the Old Testament. When Yahweh is referred to as the father of Israel, it's always lowercase f. Israel will be capitalized, in the English at least. I don't know about the Greek, but this is something I've noticed. And I noticed that when you brought it up, artist. And so to me, it's a clear distinction. In one moment, it's being talked about Yahweh, and the next it's being talked about the Father in heaven. That's what appears to me.
Well, see, I wonder if Abram shouldn't be read exalted father, because it's not Abraham in Greek. It's Abram. And when you look at the parable of where Lazarus goes to the bosom, it would be the bosom of the exalted father, if you read it that way. It's like it made more sense. I mean, do you see what I'm saying?
Now, I've looked at
Yeah,
your
but Tracy, what
things
Tracy
on
is saying that is
Exalted
that
Father.
Abraham. What Tracy is saying is that his name shouldn't be capitalized anyway because they're talking about Abraham, not
In
Yahweh.
the Greek, it's not Abraham, Tracy. It's Abram, which means exalted
Oh, okay.
father. It's a different word. I can show you that. There it is. Okay. And go here. And Abram.
I'm thinking they left a distinction in with the capitalization, but Tracy, if you can hear me.
The interlinear has. It has this. Interlinear has the same thing right there. That's Abraham in Greek, not Abraham. And see, that literally says Abram the father. Those first three words.
I watched that video the other day again from that Dolly Weber, I think.
Yeah.
And about the King James translation and the guys that were involved with translating it. And like Francis Bacon, right? He was, I guess, friends with this John Dee guy, right? Tubal Cain, all that rigmarole. You familiar with that? One of the early Masons. I believe you've mentioned it, artist, how he did the Demon Book too, King James, right?
He did. He did a book of
Yeah.
demonology. He did that one first, and it's got the 72 demons of that helped build Solomon's second temple or first temple. Let's see.
You brought up the two-ball cane. He was supposed to be a real good with crafting things, right?
Yes.
And so the Facebook symbol, the old version of it is really a cane with two balls on the side to make it look like an F.
Yes.
Like a ball on each side, and that's symbolism for two-ball cane. It's kind of crazy.
Are you familiar with the Ian Fleming link, 007? Because
No.
John D was alleged to have been an agent of the Queen, right? Back in the day. And he used to sign these things with a 007, allegedly his writings to the Queen. It's out there, I'm led to believe.
Yeah, it's what it is a universal language amongst them that where they can always communicate, and and they know what is of theirs. Like Tracy said, the Gmail is their apron. The Google Chrome is 3 6s. It's just everywhere. But yeah, it's a universal language. Like numbers is the universal language.
This teacher in grade 4, I recall, he told us all this stuff about this symbols, and he was showing us like the Colgate toothpaste and all the frickin' stuff on it. He only stayed at that school 1 year. It was a Catholic school. They kicked his ass real quick. Anyway, pardon the French.
That's it in the manuscript there, in that oldest manuscript. That's Abraham. Abraham.
I'm with you on it. I looked at your slides on it and everything. I agree with what you're saying. Like you mentioned earlier, artist, how they'll twist 3 or 4 words in a verse. And when I hear you say things like that, it always brings me back to what Jesus had to say about the scribes. Nothing good, right?
Yeah, I know.
I so much believe he knew they were trying to write themselves in, and that just keeps ringing in the ear, in the back of the head, if you will.
Yeah, I think he knew. He knew what they were going to do.
There's a few times where Jesus, when he was in the wilderness, I've been trying to compare the Gospels recently, and when he was in the wilderness being tempted, I'm trying to figure out which Jesus was, because I originally, well, not originally, but I've been thinking that it was JC, but I'm like, every time he says it is written, and he refers back to something from the Torah, I'm starting to think like maybe he's just trying to say, like, call him a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? Like even in your book, if you're supposed to be God, why would you tell me to do these things, like jump off a cliff or whatever, even if in your own book I'm not supposed to, kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, isn't it written, as of trying to solidify or give credibility to the Old Testament.
Yeah,
You know
I'm
what
with
I'm saying?
Tracy. He said what? I'm to tempt God. Like, I don't
Like
know,
on one
man.
of
That's
them
a
is,
tough one.
yeah, I know. But I mean, again, it's tough because they're trying to make it tough.
You remember he allegedly wrestled with the devil, right?
Well, that's Jacob. Jacob wrestled with the devil. The heck? My screen just went. Oh, and did someone just get kicked? Marie.
Uh-oh.
She joined again here.
There she is. She got unconnected somehow. She's back.
Sorry.
I get that too sometimes, and that's why I don't always join. Sometimes the connection's flaky.
Yeah, but yeah, that was a Jacob one that wrestled with him. That wrestled with the devil or with God, whatever you want to call him.
Well, and how did Jesus handle it? That's what I'm saying. It's the difference. You got
Oh, okay,
one.
okay, I got you. Oh, hold on. Maybe someone's trying to come up. See if I can catch her in time.
Artist, I was gonna ask, did you try like translating anything when about what he's speaking of? Jesus in the desert?
No, I hadn't looked at that verse.
Because I know a lot of people always keep going back to that. It just reminded me of that because like the other time when we were telling Rich about all that stuff, he kept mentioning it, so it's probably a good idea to look it up.
Yeah, have you looked at it yet?
I haven't. I've been
Yeah.
thinking about it. Maybe I'll do it tonight. I've been thinking about it now that they mention it. Because it's
In
something that they always go back to.
Tracy, have you looked at it? Because you do a lot of studying as well. She's saying on which one is it, or it is. I wish she would come up.
Yeah, the time I'm talking about is when he was in the wilderness being tempted right after the baptism, his 40-day trial.
in
Right. I believe that's, is it in Matthew 4?
yeah, Matthew 4,
Yeah,
verse 1,
Yeah.
it's the Bible says, then the Spirit led Jesus into the desert to be tempted by the devil. And we know that Father doesn't tempt anyone. So that just, to me, that just screams JC.
It
And
is.
Yeah, and Tracy's saying that, and so is Sally. Sally's like, but Jesus says, if you see me in the upper room or in the desert, it's, etc. It's not me.
the
And
other,
So
yeah.
was he
And the
that
only
word
really?
reason
for
why,
the dove is a pistera, and a pistera in Greek was a familiar animal that was meant to be like a counterpart of Asherah in Yahweh. So, and they don't even say that, but and
this Bible,
and it led him out to into the wilderness to be tempted. So that makes sense.
yeah,
this Bible also
and
has references for Mark 1:12 and 13 and Luke 4:1 through 13, um, about him being out in the desert or the wilderness and being tempted by the devil. Um, so more than
yeah, I
likely,
think
and
it's
it's not
only in Luke and Matthew, right? I don't. Did Mark? I think
Matthew,
Mark just
Mark,
mentioned it, but it didn't go into it.
yeah, Matthew, Mark, and Luke are the temptation stories. It's not in John.
Isn't it interesting too that Paul met Jesus in the wilderness on the road to Damascus, and it's like he was like a bright shining light, but Paul says that even the devil transforms himself, into light, and then you've got JC that was taken out into the desert to be tempted. It's interesting. It's almost like it
No, that
parallels.
makes sense.
It's
And
almost
she
like it
said,
parallels.
yeah, and then she said, why would he tempt his own son as well? And that makes complete sense as well. So
You guys heard of this guy, Jay Dyer? Jay Dyer?
Jay Dyer. That name is familiar.
Anyway, I caught this. There's this channel I look at. Pardon the French. It's Christ Cuck Pastors. Pardon me. Anyway, he has Jay Dyer on there, and Jay Dyer is claiming Paul was out there circumcising Jews, and that there was a secret Judaism going on the backside. You guys, I'll drop it in the server. You guys can.
I always thought something was wrong with circumcision.
Yeah, but I don't
I
know.
do.
I don't know why I thought of it. I'll be quiet.
Well, in Hebrew, it reads cut off, like, and it could literally mean the person's cut off, like not supposedly just private parts, but cut off, period. And I kept looking at that verse, about Abraham, because he was like 99, they said, and I was like, now wait a minute, does this mean that he was circumcised or was he cut off from, you know, some of this stuff, it could be distorted too.
And it's interesting that Paul says that we have to circumcise our hearts.
Yeah, and he
So what?
says to make yourself ready to be a sacrifice too. That always threw me. I'm like, what did he say?
That's another good point though. Because I always thought it was something weird about why would Jesus need to be baptized and to be cleansed if he's already perfect. He's one with the Father and he's perfect like the Father already. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, and then why would he even need to be? You can't even tempt him, if that was the case. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would he need to be tried? I would say, but Yahweh has to try his guy to make sure he's been doing things right, or he's, you know what I'm saying? Because they're not they're not the Father. They're just not perfect. Both of them aren't.
Also, could it be that because JC was Yahweh's boy and he went out into the desert to be tempted, and then the devil shows up, or the accuser, I don't know who it is, but could it be that that was just another fallen angel that was trying to um, disrupt Yahweh's plans? Because these gods are always fighting amongst themselves as to who's greater and who's got the most power, and trying to steal worshipers because they want worship. Do you think it's a possibility that that story's in there just to, well, it definitely is to mislead us, but maybe it was just a power struggle?
Yeah, it could have been. That's wild.
Yeah,
That's wild.
that's what they've been doing since the beginning. And I think this whole time period in the scriptures is when he started making the world one. The earthly kingdoms, because you got the Jews, you got the Greeks, you got the Hebrews all together. I mean, the Greeks and the Hebrews, and what was it written in Latin, Greek, and Hebrew, right? They're all three together in one mind, and they made up the religions of the world. The same, all
Yep.
the religions of the world now is here. It's from them. So I think that's when they set all this stuff up and made the one world government. And I think now they're just trying to make that more open, but it's actually already here, like the one world government.
The temptation stories kind of remind me of in the book of Job, where um, the accuser shows up at the divine council of gods, not our Father, and he questions Job's loyalty to Yahweh. It's the way I read it. And the accuser's allowed to test Job and unalive his family and all his flocks and give him boils and all kinds of nasty stuff. And when I read that, and then I read the temptation stories in the Gospels, it's like a repeat. It seems like everything is repeated. Even right now, what we're going through, in if we're in Yahweh's little season, basically it's just a repeat of. To me, it's just a repeat of what happened right after right after um, the crucifixion and then the 1,000-year reign and all that.
Yeah, no, it really is. It's a repeating
It's
again.
like Revelation part two, you know. There's nothing new under the sun. So it's like, yeah, we'll just do it again and see how it plays out. That's when I read it now, that's kind of what I'm thinking is, oh yeah, they're doing it again.
You know, you might be right. Tracy brought up. She said the accuser is Yahweh, and I want to get her her answer, because if that's true, and don't get, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but then who in Job, who is he talking to then? Because that's what we were talking about when you said it. In Job, who was the accuser talking to, or who is the Satan talking to? Because I do have my theory that they are one, Satan and Yahweh, or the accuser and Yahweh. Because if even earlier we brought up today
I
that
think I
Jesus
think
judge.
if you look at
So
Job,
if
Tim,
yeah,
if you look at Job, right? I believe the accuser is an agent of Yahweh,
well,
and
that's
I
what I
think
was getting at,
Yahweh's got
because
a vendetta for the accuser. I just can't remember off the top of the mind where it is. Yahweh's talking about beating down on Satan.
well,
Now I
that's the
know
reason why I think Satan has to be defeated and death has to be defeated. You know,
in Samuel, the account of where, in one account, it's Yahweh that has David number the Israelites, and in the other account in Chronicles, it's just the same
it's Satan.
event. It's Satan. So it's Satan. So
So that's why I'm asking Tracy, and it is Yahweh who Satan is talking to in Job or not? Because my theory is that Satan and Yahweh, are two in one, just like the Father and Barabbas is one. I think
right.
Yahweh and Satan is one. You see what I'm
Well,
saying?
yeah. In
Because
Revelation,
again,
John refers to him as the Satan, that great, the dragon, the Satan, and he lumps all those names as one thing. The devil, and it's all one thing.
yeah. And so Tracy is saying he was talking to the Father. So if he's talking to the Father, right? Jesus said that you have a judge, but he didn't say that his Father is the judge, and he didn't call himself the judge, right? Because they were saying that Yahweh is their judge. And you can't accuse someone to anyone unless you're accusing them to the judge. So I don't think that was the Father that Satan was speaking to. I don't think the Father would allow Satan to go down and say, "Hey, yeah, go ahead, give him boils. Go ahead, take his family away." I don't know.
I
I
agree,
don't think
Tim.
so.
I think it was
So
Yahweh.
I think that was Satan and Yahweh doing what Satan and Yahweh do. Accuse, and then he said, "Hey, Yahweh, hey, they fell for it. Go do your thing." And then he come and do his thing.
Right.
As
But there's
crazy
no
as it
way.
sounds, it appears to me like if you go back to the Genesis in the Old Testament, you have man is created and given dominion, and then all of us, like so-called Elohim rest, right? Which suggests to me that right away, right there, isn't the Father, because Jesus said the Father takes no days off. But then all of a sudden you have Lord God or Yahweh Elohim show up, right? And to me, that's always been a big distinction.
Yes.
So you got like
Yeah.
two groups out here. So like I believe too in that Old Testament you will see hints of this good group of Elohim, if you will, right? For instance, Noah getting warned about the flood, if that helps, right? Because anyway, but yeah, I agree with you that that whole Job scene, right? What good father is going to let their child get beat up on? Hello? You know what I'm saying?
Because if that was me, I would be beating him up for even trying to
Well,
mess
I'd
with
say,
my son.
what are you talking about? What's wrong with you? You know, why are you talking like this? You need a hug?
Exactly. And artist, you brought up Revelations 12. You know, I have another way of reading that part about and the Satan and the dragon. You know, and I still think that they're one. Don't get me wrong. It says, "And the great dragon was thrown out, that serpent of old, called the devil," and then it says, "And Satan." And now, yeah, he could be called the devil and be called Satan, but I thought that it possibly could be saying the devil, like slash Yahweh, and Satan, because they a tag team, have been thrown out.
Right.
Like the serpent of old called the devil, right? So the serpent is a devil, the dragon, that's what we believe Yahweh is a dragon, and Satan, the accuser. So that's just my way of kind of like I've been starting to read it that way a little bit. And oh my gosh, y'all could probably hear my cat. Be quiet. Jeez.
I
But
hear it.
yeah.
That's cute.
Oh my goodness. It's the smallest one, and all she does is want to eat. That's it's ridiculous. Eats more than the big one.
When I read that account, and anytime it's talking about Satan goes up and he's in the he goes to the heavens and he's addressing uh, the Lord or whatever, that just to me that's the divine council of gods that, and they're all down here now. They're not they're inside this realm where we are trapped down here with us. That's the way I read it. Is none of them are good. It's not Abba Father. His kingdom is no part of this world. So anytime I read in the Bible when it says that they go to the heavens and this and that, I look at it as it's talking about this realm, and they're not good. That's the way I read it. So that's how I've been reading it for a while now.
Yeah, I agree with that one. Very much so.
And
Guys, she's still going. It's crazy. Sorry.
No problem.
also these scriptures we're reading in the Old Testament, they come from older tablets that are before the Old Testament was written. And I remember you artists saying that it seems it very well could be that the Old Testament came after the New Testament, but they're all they're all stories from fallen gods. Even if the Old Testament was influenced by their stories were lifted from earlier stories, their earlier stories aren't from good people. It's not from Father. That's the way I look at it. It's all like what Jesus Barabbas said, everything that came before me, they were all liars and thieves.
Yeah, I think they all came and tricked the nations. You know how everybody got the story of a beautiful angel falling down and then made it with the woman, and the woman was so in love, but then the angel started looking bad and started deteriorating and look, you know. But and you know they gave birth to giants, and those fallen angels was leading those people. That's what the nations are, you know, and they all been liars and thieves, promising these people some kind of way to, you know, divinity.
Right.
See what I'm saying? And I think that's what Jesus is talking about.
It's been going on for a long time, and I think this is the last go around for this whole shebang. All the deceptions that are in the Bible and in all the older writings that are out there. I think it's the last time for all of them. I hope it is
Can,
anyway.
can I butt in just for 1 second? Golanov, can you invite up? I just don't see the name on the list. Rolos, Rolos has some questions. You see the name there?
Yeah. I don't know if that worked or not. They may have their profile private. If they do, I can't invite them up.
Just
Yeah, he's not showing up on mine either. I just tagged him out of the chat and invited him, but it didn't go through.
Yeah. Okay, that's okay. We tried.
That's so strange how it does that.
The name doesn't even show up on mine. It doesn't show up for you. Tim, you said, right?
yeah, no, it didn't show up for me, but he says in the chat that he hit accept.
Do you have your profile marked private? If it's marked private, it won't let you up. You're a ghost?
I'm
Okay.
a ghost.
You can't request to come up. You can't request at all.
Well, it's probably the settings. He's got or he, she, I'm not sure if it's a girl or a guy, but it
Okay,
has to set.
hit the multi guest button. I think Rolos, and see if that works.
Looks like a little pink and blue, two little people together on the bottom left corner, and you hit that, and that'll hit send a request.
Mine aren't pink and blue. Mine are just white and black.
Yeah, same here for me.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because she's the host, maybe.
So, do you feel that the divine council, that Abba Father is part of that divine council, or is that all fallen gods?
I don't think they're of this. I don't think Father's of this world. So I don't think it has anything to do with those.
Yeah, the comments, and yeah, I'm kind of reading right now, sorry. But I don't think so either. I think they're all within this realm. They're trapped down here, and when it's talking about all that, it's talking about fallen angels that want to be worshipped. I just don't see Abba Father in the Old Testament at all. I'm still trying to find him, but I haven't found him yet.
I don't see him in there either.
Is that true? You really need to have 200 followers at least to join as a guest? That's crazy.
Yeah, you do. You have to have 1,000 to host
I
a
don't
live.
even. I don't think I even have 200 now, though.
I don't either.
Yeah, me neither.
my first time ever making a TikTok when you guys invited me up. You know, or my first time using it. Let me say that I made it and just let it sit. But then I came up and then bam, you guys shot me an invite and I took it.
We're glad you're here, Tim. We're glad you stumbled through TikTok and found us.
Oh, I came looking for you guys. Honestly,
Yeah.
I was from YouTube, and
Oh,
you know,
really? Okay, good.
yeah, and then you guys, I kept missing you guys because my schedule was off. I'm an overnighter, you know.
Mm-hmm.
How many
Yeah.
likes do y'all show right now?
Uh, seven point
Nine.
five thousand.
I see
I
9.3
have
thousand.
I have
Dang.
29.7 thousand.
I show
I
7.7 thousand.
Mine
I
shows
have
9.
27. I'm not kidding. I have 29.7 thousand.
There's something wrong with this the system here.
I
You know it?
know. It's such a farce. Yeah.
Got 7.7.
That's weird. We all have
That's
something
wild.
different. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
And
Mine says
I
9,
can.
9.3.
Yeah. It's such
Wow.
a. It's Yahweh's. Come on.
Yeah.
He's a liar.
what is the status of I know is TikTok controlled by somebody else now? It used to be all from China, right? But now didn't they have to give some of their power over to somebody in the US, or does anybody know?
At one time, I know it was up. The U.S. wanted to buy it, but they couldn't afford it.
I saw a video though like 2 weeks ago that said China does not own TikTok. That the United it's the United States that owns it, and that who knows what the truth is. Very weird.
Oh man, I was gonna make a terrible joke. I'm like, I didn't know the Chinese people made TikTok, and I'm like, it makes sense now why it's called TikTok.
I think it's a play on the end times. TikTok, TikTok, TikTok.
Is
Oh, you
that
know
is
what?
that
That's smart.
yeah, TikTok BOM?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get some
we
hate for
get
that
it.
one, man. Y'all leave me alone, man. Come on.
I'm just being silly tonight. Because I can.
This is funny.
Yeah, if the Americans want to buy it, you know they're gonna use it for something bad.
Yeah.
I guess we can say the same thing about China too, because I heard they only have one chat, um, like app system, whatever you want to call it. They only have one,
Like
and it's monitored.
one messaging app
Yeah,
system. Yeah.
yeah. There's no SMS or Apple iMessage, whatever. It's not. It's just one thing.
Wow.
Yeah, and if you say something bad about certain stuff, oh, I heard they'll come and get you. There's consequences, man. Like you get fired and stuff. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
This rat race goes on long enough, it'll be here too.
And she said, especially if they got dual citizen. Oh, Lee said that if they got dual citizenship, yeah, they don't trust you, man. You always being monitored,
Oh, really? Wow.
even though they all working for Yahweh.
I've been watching
Yep.
those tours in China that little guy does on the TikTok, and they're real interesting. Because he goes to all different parts of China and just walks around and talks about it. And he's from North Carolina. He is Chinese, by birth, like of nationality, but he goes over there. He can speak Chinese, and he goes and he explains things. And they eat some of the most foods that just, oh gosh, I know if you grew up eating them, it wouldn't bother you, but oh my gosh. I look at that stuff that he eats and I'm like, oh, gross. Like duck feet and stuff like that with the webs and all. I'm like, oh,
Uh.
yeah. I'm just like,
Oh man.
and he just sits there and laps that stuff up, and I'm like, oh my man, that about made me sick. But
Yeah.
he does the street walking, and then he goes to features like he went to the Great Wall of China and walked around and showed everybody what it was like. It's a really good show.
Wow.
I work with people that be bragging about eating stuff like that, like duck feet. So I'm like, man, leave my friends alone, man. Dang,
That's just
stop eating,
normal
my
for
friend.
them, though. They eat like that all the time. Because he's in the marketplaces with the little side things, and he's showing what all they have to eat. And there's all kinds of weird, exotic things they eat that we don't eat. It's wild.
Don't they eat bugs there too, like cockroaches and stuff? They eat.
I think so. They eat
That's
some kind of
gross.
bugs, not
Yeah.
cockroaches, but some other kind.
Grasshoppers or.
Oh, yeah, I think it's locusts and grasshoppers.
That's disgusting.
I was gonna say like, not that I love locusts or anything, but why was John eating them? Like they got life in them too, and that's what I'm very confused about on that one.
I know.
I
Very
always
strange to
said
me.
that, I mean, locust is also a tree, and I'm wondering if it was the tree that he was eating and not the bug.
Ah, that
Well,
Yeah.
might make
that's
sense.
interesting.
Yeah.
It
Okay,
could
there you
be.
go.
I
Yeah.
heard it was locust beans, not I heard it was locust
Well,
beans.
locust beans, the locust tree has a bean as its
Yeah,
fruit, and it hangs down.
yeah,
And so that's what,
Yeah.
you know, that's my
All right.
landscape
yeah.
art. That's my landscape architecture contribution for this evening.
You know they did the same thing with when you read the Gospel of the Nazarenes or the Gospel of the Holy 12. It says that Jesus he distributed fruit and bread on the mountain, not fish.
Oh,
So I
wow.
think they did the same thing to John when they that they did to Jesus, trying to accuse them in some way. Because, like I said, once you get down to the nitty gritty, it's either death worship or life worship.
Yep.
And that if they trying to make it seem like they ate meat or ate unalive something for eating pleasure or something like that, they're trying to accuse them in some way of worshiping death.
I said though, these companies and all, it's like when I was used to try to follow Torah a long time ago. It's like even your shampoos and stuff have pig fat in them. It's like it's crazy. It's like everything has some kind of animal byproduct.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those type of vegetarians that's like, oh, I can't eat you know milk or cheese and stuff like that. I'm not even that kind of guy. I'm just all about not unaliving anything. That's
Yeah,
all.
me too. And mine came from growing up on a farm. It didn't come from any kind of scripture. It was like I grew up on a farm. My grandmother had me kill a chicken one time, and that did it for me. I was like, I don't want any more chicken. This is horrible. It's like
My dad had to do that growing up. They grew up really poor, and he never ate chicken. He couldn't eat it. He just,
that's that's what we were. My grandparents went through the depression, and
my
all
parents did, yeah.
we had 400 head of cattle, and we had pigs, we had goats, we had chickens. All the food came from the farm, every bit of it. And it was like even the gardens were huge. When the garden came in, everybody was all hands on deck, and we canned enough for the whole entire year. Um, it was a big production. And when they would they take a cow to market and have it cut up, and or either grandfather do it. He did it sometimes, but I couldn't stand to go out there and watch that, man. I would just be sick. I couldn't do it. They eat a lot of deer meat too, and squirrel, all kinds of foods. My grandfather would even eat a armadillo even.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
they grew up when there was nothing, and they kept a pantry stock like you wouldn't believe, because they were in those times when they didn't have anything, so they were scared, that would happen again. And he said,
yeah,
"We're never going hungry." That's what he would say. I mean, they were real. It's like everybody worked in the garden. As soon as it was time to put it in, we were working on it and working on it till we even grew peanuts. The property went down to the river, and there was a sandy area, and we grew peanuts. It was pretty cool.
Peanuts grow in sandy areas, huh?
Yeah,
Interesting.
I loved the peanuts. I used to eat boiled peanuts till I would burst.
Me too. Especially as a kid, like I used to walk everywhere I go, and man, you give me a couple peanuts, we can go anywhere.
Grandmother, even though he built her a new house in and had two full kitchens because she had to still have her wood stove. She didn't like cooking on an electric stove. So he put her in a second kitchen with the wood stove. It was funny. And all the food she made for the family would come out of that other kitchen she made. We were Cajun and basically, native part like Choctaw, and it's like she'd cook on there. She'd do poor man's dish and seafood gumbo and all that stuff. Jambalaya, all the Cajun dishes.
Y'all are making me hungry. I ate at around 3 o'clock and I haven't had anything to eat since then.
Oh, JP, did you want up? I didn't hit it quick enough. Oh, he made it. Okay, good.
I was going to say, allegedly, the reason, if you ask me, the reason they shut off the people making their own so-called alcohol, so I'm led to believe a lot of people were running their automobiles from it.
Oh, wow. Possibly.
And that's why they turned it all off. Like, you're not allowed to do that. Now, of
Yeah,
course,
they put that in movies too. You ever seen the movie Lawless
unsure. What's it? I've
with
seen a lot of
Shia
movies, but
LaBeouf? And I'm
it's
saying
been a
that like a
minute.
champ, like 'cause I don't know no celebrity names.
No, that's been a minute since I've seen that one. What do you recall?
Well, in the movie, I think at some point he started using because it's supposed to be during Prohibition, and
Yeah,
they were selling moonshine to people. But at some point in the movie, he used the moonshine to power his car
yeah,
to help him escape, and But yeah,
yeah.
My grandfather was so good at everybody that lived out there. It's like when he started making money, he bought a funeral home. And then he bought another funeral home, and then he bought a third one. And he was making big money because everybody passes away and needs a funeral home. And he kept telling me, do something that people are going to need, and that way you don't have to worry. But when he made it and was making money, he would take everybody in the community food, truckloads of food. I mean, we'd be handing out food like, all the people that were poor around us, everybody, we'd have boxes of food. And he'd just take a truck and go deliver food. If somebody needed meat, he'd say, come over here and get you a deer off the land. I mean, he was so good to everybody. I loved him so much.
I'm
Yeah, I
afraid
think
Sam, you need to go back to. Oh, go
sorry.
ahead.
I was
No, no,
just
go
going to
ahead,
say,
brother.
it appears to me they're taking Jesus away from this world, because I don't know, as much as I love it, being able to speak with you brothers and sisters, this technology, I think, it's not been a good thing. I recall when I was younger in the high school, they were like, oh, you want to take computing. And I was like, that's geeky. And I never got into it. And the big sell on it. Maybe you guys remember. Oh, it's going to make life so much easier, right? And is it any easier?
No, and people were healthier. They were outside and doing things more.
How the trees that grow next to the electric meter box
Oh, yeah.
on that side there's no leaves and there is dying. That's what it's doing to us. The technology. It's the reason why we are unaliving before 120 years. You see what I'm saying?
Probably
Because
so.
it's the technology and the food, of course. But with the food, is really the technology that they put in the food. The chemicals and stuff.
They got
But
nanos in there and everything now.
yeah, they don't want us knowing what our great grandfathers knew. They don't want information to be passed down. because it makes it harder to indoctrinate. You see what I'm saying? So they need to
Yep.
shorten the lifespans of people so that it's easier to get everyone on one accord.
Food don't taste the same either. I'm sorry, but it doesn't.
I agree with you. It does not taste
Same.
the
I
same.
agree too.
It doesn't. I've noticed. I noticed it a long time ago before other people did, and people thought it was crazy, but they're starting to see it now.
Yeah, people getting all type of uh, viruses, because of the technology, like cancers and stuff, and it's usually technology is a huge reason why.
Yeah, my grandmother lived to be 82, was chopping wood for a wood stove and had a heart attack and passed away. Then my grandfather lived to be 90 something, and he died in his sleep with a smile on his face. And both of them were able to work up till the day almost they left here. It's amazing, you know.
Yeah, I think we need to be like plants. We don't need to be blocked off from the sun. You know, we need to be grounded. Have our roots in the earth, and I think that it makes for a healthier lifestyle. But I think there's even a theory that we're not even supposed to wear shoes. But hey, with all these thorns and thistles, we need it some kind of way.
Right. Sorry we got away from the topic, but this is interesting too. It's like to really think about things, sit back and I mean, I'm 64 and I look back on all these years and I'm just like, wow, you know. We got 2 TV channels, and that was if you could get the antennas turned the right way. You could pick up 2 TV channels, and they were grainy. You didn't watch them very often because they were like had snow in them. So that was just not the focus of the house, at all.
I remember that. And then when I was like in 7th, 8th grade, we got cable, and we thought, wow, we went from having 2 channels to having like 15, and we thought that was like incredible. And how technology's changed since the 70s. Gosh.
And the better the technology got, the more the cancers came, the other diseases. Remember, cancer got more popular with technology.
Right.
Same time,
Yeah.
you know.
And vaccines, Tim, if you ask me.
Yes, yes. But all
Yeah.
these new health issues, you know what I'm saying? If there's nothing new under the sun, why people thought that a new disease was gonna come and just destroy all of us? And thank goodness this we had a Bill Gates to help us out, or a Dr. Fauci, I think that's all just silly nonsense.
Yeah.
It was a totally different lifestyle than now, though. And it's like if people got older and they stayed in the house too with the other family members and they lived in the same roof. And I remember
Hmm.
when Aunt Claire May got too old to live on her own, it's like Grandma said, "Come on, get your stuff." And we got a room. And they put her up, and if she couldn't do nothing but shell peas, she'd be sitting there shelling peas. She always had some little job she was doing to help grandmother. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's how things are supposed to be. I hate
Yeah,
my
me
community.
too.
They teach as soon as you turn 18, you're gonna get out of my house and you're gonna start paying rent. Another man, not keeping the money in the family, but go pay someone else rent to stay there instead of helping each other out. Now y'all both can save, and prosper. But it's pretty bad.
That, that's why we have a granny suite on one side for Paul's mother, and we have an apartment in the basement where Nick lives, my son.
That's
So we just
awesome.
keep it all together. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be damned if I let my daughter, you know, leave. Like
Yeah.
my daughter gonna be living under my house until she get married, and
Till
then
she's 40.
and if he ain't ready, he can come and live under my house too. You know what
Right.
I'm saying?
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah.
Grandmother kept 2
But I'll
extra
be
bedrooms
damned.
all the time for people. Anybody that needed a place. It's like, It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Now
ain't nobody
they
leaving my
were
house.
hardcore though, because when I was in the fifth grade, Mom and Dad had gone on a trip to Mexico, and they were having cheerleading tryouts, and Dad always wanted me to be a cheerleader, and I wasn't a cheerleader type. I was a basketball player, but I thought I'd do it that year for him and make him happy. So I decided to try out, and I was trying to learn to cut cartwheels in the yard, and I fell and broke my neck. My grandmother did not take me to the hospital. She put me in the bed flat on my back, and she took care of me until they got back. And then I was
Wow.
27 years old, or something, no, 22, and I swallowed a fish bone, and they had to do one of those fluoroscopes because I had the bone was stuck in the throat, and they were going to take it out. And the doc come out there because I worked in the ER, and he said, "When did you break your neck? When were you in a car wreck?" I said, "What are you talking about? I've never broke my neck." He said, "Oh, yes, you have." And he took me back there to look at it, and he said, "There's your fish bone, and here's your fractured C2 that's been healed up." He said, "I hate to tell you this, but at some point you broke your neck." And that's the only neck injury I ever had, so that had to have been when it happened. But I told grandmother I couldn't move. I said, "It hurts too bad. I can't get up." So she left me in the bed. And they were gone 4 weeks, so by the time she got back, I guess I was pretty much healed. You
That's
know.
terrible.
Yeah. So I laid there with a broke neck for 4 weeks. It was wild. I'm just lucky I wasn't paralyzed.
Yeah. Wow. That's
It was a
crazy.
big crack, too. It wasn't hard to see it. It was big. I was like, wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I say I've never broken a bone before, but I've had some injuries that took a few weeks to heal that probably could have been broken bones and just haven't known, didn't go to the doctor.
They
I do
laughed at
not like
me.
going to no doctor.
Tim, they laughed at me because I used my grandmother's remedy for a fish bone stuck in the throat. Because I told him, I said, "I don't really want to go to surgery tonight." And he said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I'm going to go home. I'm going to drink a Coca-Cola and eat a bag of lemons. And I bet it'll be gone tomorrow. I'll be back and we'll do another x-ray." He said, "Now, you're going to have to sign out against advice to do that." And I said, "That's fine. My grandmother did it. And so I went home and I drank a couple of Coca-Colas and then I ate a bag of lemons. I went back the next morning. The fish bone was dissolved. It was gone.
Oh my goodness. And that's why I study holistic health right there.
I was an ER nurse. My grandmother said Coca-Cola will clean anything. It'll eat that bone. That's what she said. She was right.
Your grandma was smart, yeah.
We're learning about that today, just about how toxic Coca-Cola is. I've heard that though too, with bones that it will
I know,
dissolve
shame on me
anything.
for drinking it.
I love
I gotta
cherry
stop
Oh
Coke.
drinking
well,
I'll
that
have
drink
to
it if you
admit,
want.
I love cherry
Yeah.
Cokes. They're horrible for you, but I like them.
What's not horrible for us anymore, though, really, you
I
know?
know it doesn't matter what we eat now, really, because I don't even know if you can trust the organic stuff to be organic.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I mean, I've seen the videos where they might be grown organic, but then they're going down the conveyor belt and they're spraying them down with something. So,
My grandparents were hardcore, though.
Yeah, I thought you was gonna say your grandma told you to walk it off. I'm like, oh my goodness, man.
Now, she took real good care of me. She fed me from the bed and everything, took care of me, just like I was in the hospital.
Dang.
Yeah. You need
Talk about
anything
being
else,
a
honey?
nurturer.
And she
Yeah.
brought me a TV in there. She picked me up with a little TV so I could watch TV. Brought me books, and I mean, it was wild.
It sounded like she was so calm. Like she probably every time she left the room, she was probably freaking out. Like, oh my god, I hope I ain't break
Probably.
this girl neck.
Yeah, because mom and dad were gone,
Exactly.
and they were watching us. We were teenagers. I think I was in the fifth grade.
Oh yeah, I would have been freaking out.
You're in the
I'd be
fifth
like,
grade. You're
damn,
10.
man.
Yeah, about 10.
Wow. Yeah.
We did all kinds of stuff, though. I mean, we would be on the back of a horse pulling fence line, and herding cows, and I mean, it was just like it was a ranch almost, and it was like we were always working. Somebody was always getting hurt too. Anybody else got anything they want to add, or we want to call it for tonight? It's kind of died down.
Yeah, it's getting late there. It's too bad that Rolo or whatever it was there.
I know that he
What
couldn't
was
come
it?
up with his questions.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, but to be truthful, I can't even see Marie on my list, although she's here. I can't see her. My list is so
Let me
short. I
look
don't
and
know
see
what's
if I
going on.
see her.
It says
Let me
viewers,
see.
and I don't literally.
She's
I
not
have
on mine
1, 2,
either.
3, 4, 5,
She's not on
6
mine.
viewers, but she's
I
in the
think our numbers
audience
are wrong, guys. It's like on everything. I'm still showing
on everything.
8.4K on the likes.
Exactly.
When I
Yeah.
end this and they have the little questionnaire, how did it go? I'll tell them that it was messed up.
Yeah, numbers are all off. I have 31,000 here.
I have
Yeah.
10K
So,
right now.
And
yeah.
I'm showing 8.4.
How many people does it say is in the chat?
I'm
Well, it only. Oh, I
I'm
have
showing
13.
14.
I'm showing 14.
I'm showing 16.
I have 13. So something's off, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's off.
Like literally, when I open up the thing to see
Pay
who's all in here.
13.7. That's funny.
Yeah, when when I open it up, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 viewers and the panel. That's it.
Very weird.
Yeah.
I'm showing 16 and 8.9K likes.
That's
It's
so
weird.
Yeah, I'm showing 16 and 8.4K.
Yeah. So I guess by knowing this, it's not worth getting too upset about what the numbers are. You know what I mean? Just go with whatever.
I've been noticing this because it can seem booming in here, and then when I get off the live, it'll say we had 100 viewers, and I see
Yeah.
nothing but 20 up at the top, or sometimes 30, and I'm like, that's wild, man. It said we had 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird. But maybe there's some on the outside that haven't actually haven't actually clicked into the live or joined the live.
A lot of people listen on the outside. They really do.
I don't even know how to do
Which
that.
is fine.
Yeah.
No, I don't know how to do it either.
Not from my cell phone.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
You just hit your live button, then you hit following, and then there'll be like a scroll button on the left, and you can go up and down through all the people you're following. And then there's another button you can hit live, and then hit for you. And when you hit for you, it'll show you things that they think you might like that picked up through the algorithm.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that way, and then if you want to watch one, you hit the watch now button. So you can be on the outside and hear everything and see who's in there without even going into the live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Looks like it's it for tonight, guys.
Yeah, I love you guys. I think this was an important one, even though it was kind of short. It was very important.
I'm gonna listen to it again tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's a good one.
I mean, it's one of the most important stories, or the most told stories from the Bible. So I think it's good that we went over it.
Yeah, and you can see down the rabbit hole is the one where you can see the slides real clear. Because I have a video on this. It's called Down the Rabbit Hole.
Okay.
On YouTube. And it's only like 20 something minutes. That's why I thought this one was perfect, because it would be like just a little bit at the front end, and then we could talk. But
that was good.
Oh, thank you, Faye. Thank everybody. I really appreciate y'all being here.
Yeah, it was
Hope
a
I
good
didn't
night,
bore you to
guys.
death with my family tales.
No, not at all. Not at all. So
I like getting background info on you guys.
The rabbit hole one. Faye, if you just put in rabbit hole, it'll come up on the search.
What'd you say, Tim?
No, I was just saying I like getting background information on you guys anyway. So
Yeah, yeah. We're part of a family here, so yeah, you want to know who everybody is. It's
Exactly.
all good. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
before we jump off tonight, I just wanted to tell you all that I love you, and let's just keep doing what we're doing. It's
yeah,
making a difference.
It is
yeah.
I
indeed.
think so too,
I
Shannon.
agree, Shannon.
Thank you for
Yeah,
taking your night off
me
to
too.
be
Love
with
you
us
too,
too.
Shannon.
I didn't have anything
Yeah.
better to do. I couldn't think of anything better to do, so I'm glad I'm here.
We're
Well,
glad
we're
you're
glad
here
you're here
Thank
too.
you, Shannon.
too.
And
Yeah.
thanks everybody that
All
came
right. Well,
up on the
night,
panel to
everybody.
help tonight too.
Yeah.
You're
Night,
welcome,
Well,
dear.
guys.
night, everyone.
All
Love
right, good night,
you.
Have a good
Good night,
Night,
everybody.
night.
guys.
Jim Bob.
Well,
Love you too. Bye. Yeah, night, Jim Bob.